Hey guys, Marco the dog trainer here. Today we're going to be doing a quick review video of the longest retractable leash I was able to find. Okay, now as I've said in my other videos, I have 4 dogs. They're all pretty much medium up to large. And when I was starting to look for a retractable leash, one of the first big problems I was having is I could not find one that was longer than 15 or 16 feet. And when we're talking about big dogs or dogs that just want more space to run around and play, we're going to need more than 15 or 16 feet. So that's how I stumbled across the MK-DEF Retractable Dog Leash. This particular one is 26 feet. That is the longest one I have been able to find, okay? Now, before we go into a deeper dive on this leash in particular, I just wanted to give a quick disclaimer because there's a lot of misunderstandings about retractable leashes, okay? So the first thing I'm going to say is that most veterinarians and dog trainers hate retractable leashes, okay? There's like safety concerns around them if you don't know what you're doing. So I used to feel that way as well, and over time I've kind of broadened my horizons to say that I think that there's a few areas that we can use a retractable leash. So there's kind of a time and a place. Now, I'm going to do another video down the road that goes into a lot more depth, but I just really quickly wanted to say the 3 areas that I would be using a retractable leash. The first one is going to be for like potty training or leash breaking a puppy. The second area is going to be recall training, like coming when called, or off-leash training itself. And then the third area is going to be for dogs that are already off-leash trained that we're kind of just using it as a safety net because there are leash laws and things like that. Okay, so those are really the main 3 areas that I would be using a retractable leash. And like I said, down the road, I'm going to do another video that goes into much more depth on the do's and don'ts. Okay, so now why don't we take a closer look at this particular retractable leash so I can show you guys everything you need to know. Okay guys, we've got the MK-DEF 26-foot retractable leash here. There are 2 different models. There's a 16-foot model that's for dogs up to 55 pounds. And then we've got the 26-foot model that's for dogs 66 to 110 pounds. Now, again, me personally, 2 out of my 4 dogs don't even crack the 50-pound mark. And I still use this one for them, not because I need it to be extra strong and durable, but just because I want the extra distance, okay? Now, this is a pretty standard retractable leash. I don't need anything fancy like flashlights and poop bag holders and a wallet holder. So this is a pretty standard retractable leash, okay? So it stretches out to about 26 feet. We've got our typical locking mechanism that if I push this down and pull it back, that's what's going to lock it. So you can lock it at whatever distance you want. If you push it forward, that's what's going to unlock it. Okay, as you can see here, this is a pretty sturdy buckle, and it rotates and swivels and everything like that. And as you can see here, it is like really stitched on there. So again, that's where like that extra kind of durability comes from. Now we've got this like rubber plastic stopper here that I'm pretty sure that that's just to stop the metal piece from slamming into the plastic. Because if this thing was like all the way extended out and it retracted back, it can really pick up a little bit of speed on the way back. So I'm pretty sure that's what that's for. And then the only other thing that I want to point out here is the type of leash that we have here, where there's really, again, 3 components that I'm looking for. And I already told you 2 of them. Durability, distance, and then the third one is going to be I don't want this tangling. Okay, because if it gets knotted up and it gets locked, that's not going to do us any good. So I think that because this one is a cloth, like a nylon type leash, instead of like a string or like a little rope like a lot of the other ones are, it really helps with this not getting tangled. Where I've probably had this leash for 3 years, and I don't think I've ever had an issue with it getting tangled. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure that has to do with like the technology that stops it from getting stuck or tangled, okay? And again, you can kind of see how that feeds in there compared to like a string type retractable leash. And then the other thing is if you have ever been rope burned before, where like a rope gets pulled really fast and it kind of friction burns across your skin, that really hurts. So a lot of these retractable leashes that are using more of like a heavy duty string or rope, those are a lot more likely to rope burn you than one of these like nylon type leashes. So I'm sure it's still probably possible to get a burn from this, but it's just going to be way less likely than a string or something like that. So, and as you can see, I guess the last thing I'll say here is you can see this thing has been dropped and dragged like quite a few times, but it's like very, very sturdy. So it's worked out great for me these last 3 years. Okay, so that's pretty much everything you guys need to know about the ECT retractable dog leash. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.